Welcome, beautiful people, to Wave Talks, a podcast by Wave Electronics, where we deep dive into the latest and greatest custom installer trends. Today, we're talking about our legacy AVAD dealers in business and that conversion over to Wave Electronics. I'm your host today, Donnie McVicker, and with me is Jeff Neilson. Hey, Jeff, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Donnie. How are you, man?
Doing awesome. It's been a great day so far, and excited to talk to you today.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do for Wave.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Neilson, and I've been with AVAD/Wave for over a decade now. Got my start up in the Great White North, AVAD Calgary in Canada, where I was born and raised. I was there for about 5 years until we moved down to the United States, and I took on a role in purchasing for AVAD.
Sweet.
I was there for 4 years. Then we had the AVAD-Wave merger in the fall of 2018, and from there jumped over to Houston. Continued on with purchasing for a little while, working with Ainsley Fukuda and his team. And then our chief sales officer, Brian, convinced me to try something different and start this B2B division of the business. So I'm now the national sales manager for B2B business at Wave.
Sounds like you've been not all over the world, but all over North America, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Getting to do this awesome job.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And now to kind of come back to my roots, which was the AVAD business. So we are working with a team of phenomenal people that we brought on to help go after dealers that were part of the AVAD business and, you know, through the changes of the business or maybe no longer doing business with us and convince them why they should.
So you said something a minute ago and it kind of confused me. So just want to kind of ask, you said B2B, but Wave and AVAD, well, when I was there as well, I'm one of those guys too, is all of our business is B2B. So what does that really mean? You've said AVAD, you've said B2B a couple times. So just to make sure we all understand.
Yeah. So obviously all of our business is business to business, as you said, right? We don't do to consumer sales. But it was a term coined by Brian to make it so that we could differentiate between the other two pillars of the Wave business, of the Wave sales, which is obviously branch business and our corporate sales business. So B2B is really more of a, I don't know if you want to call it a virtual team or something, but it's a team dedicated to going back and getting those AVAD dealers reinterested in shopping with Wave.
Okay, so we primarily are focusing on dealers where we don't have a physical location to service them and help them out.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, even when AVAD was operating, there was 60% of the business was via some form of a shipment. It wasn't necessarily will call. So, and then COVID reinforced the fact that you don't necessarily need a physical location. And you can service the dealer in the exact same way, if not better, with the team devoted to taking care of them.
Okay. All right. Sweet. So the day-to-day focus for the team really is just around figuring out how to re-engage with these dealers that we may have lost touch with or maybe aren't, calling us on a daily basis. What are some of the things that we're doing in order to do that?
Probably important to start with the team that we had to build out, right? We can't really service our dealers unless we have phenomenal talent. So we reached out to some previous AVAD employees that we were working with and convinced them to come join us on this fun adventure, and they were all super excited to do so. So we've got a team around the United States that are calling on these dealers and trying to just re-engage them with Wave Electronics because obviously the AVAD transition to Wave was pretty abrupt. A lot of people don't know exactly how that all went down. So we kind of work through that with the dealers and help explain how AVAD became Wave, for lack of a better word, and how Wave can support their business.
Yeah, and I think it's important. We probably should talk about that conversation. So, and just briefly, just for those that aren't AVAD dealers that are listening to this, or old AVAD dealers, and maybe a Wave dealer listening, back when COVID started, that merger had happened just before that. So it was probably the worst time ever to merge two businesses together. And unfortunately, due to the rapid changes in the economy and the environment, after that merger happened, we had to rapidly shut down in a lot of these AVAD locations. And it was rather abrupt for some customers. Some customers, it was a little bit longer drawn out. And that was an unfortunate time for a lot of our customers. But I think it's pretty awesome that we then took that and realized, well, let's go back and get some of those people. Let's bring them on board to Wave and let's go figure out how we can service those dealers. And I'm assuming we're doing this. We're having a podcast talking about it. I'm assuming we've had some success with those people winning that business back.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the transition from Avid to Wave was very abrupt, specifically because of what happened with COVID and all that. It was a terrible time, as you said. And we wanted to make sure that we, as a company, were as healthy as possible before we started to do anything that could be a disservice to the dealers. What we don't want to do is reach out to them when we have low inventory levels or supply chain disruptions, right? So we had to be careful of the timing, but we felt that the timing was right for us to really go reach out and reengage with these dealers. So we brought on a team that can take care of their needs, a dedicated team. Our inventory is at an all-time high, and we have a litany of new features at Wave Electronics value adds of why they could do business with us instead of some other distributor in their market.
Sweet. So before we get into those value adds, because I think that's going to be important for everybody to hear, why don't you just tell us about the markets that we cover in the team? Just a quick little snippet on each of the guys and where and the areas that they cover, so that everybody kind of has an idea of the footprint.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we're a team of 4 dedicated regional sales managers, and hopefully expanding soon as we continue down this path. But we've got a gentleman named Bougie, who also came from Calgary. He went down and worked at the AVAD Van Nuys branch for about a year, and then transitioned over to our corporate sales team for a while. And then he's back taking care of the state he loves the most, California. Awesome. So he's the surfer dude, and he absolutely loves California, and he's there for those California dealers. And there's a lot of them, obviously. Yeah. Gary Grant, our AVAD Seattle branch manager, after spending some time selling Jeep parts to customers, including me, he decided to come back and take care of our Pacific Northwest region. So everything north of Scottsdale or north of Arizona, all the way up into Seattle.
Okay. Sweet.
We also got a wonderful lady named Tammy Irwin. And for you dealers listening to this that know Tammy, she's a bulldog. She will... short of murdering somebody, she'll take care of you. She'll do what you need every time.
She may murder someone. I don't know.
You never know. Yeah. So she takes care of Tri-State and the Northeast. She was with the AVAD virtual sales team, and she is one of the most devoted people I know. And finally, we got Andy Levey out of what was AVAD Nashville. Spent some time with a competitor there in Nashville, and took the jump and joined us on Wave to take care of the southeast side of the country for us.
It's exciting to hear all these names and know that all these people that I used to work with for years are back. So it's exciting, and I know the feedback from those of you that have had an opportunity to interact with them have been fantastic. So they've really kind of came into the Wave world really quickly and done a really good job adapting and getting used to the things that Wave does differently and the value adds that we have, and getting out there and selling those to the dealer base so that they understand why it makes sense for Wave to, for you to do business with Wave. So speaking of value adds, why don't you cover some of the reasons why someone should be doing business with Wave?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great because we have the perspective of what AVAD offered, right? As a value-added distributor, an alliance of value-added distributors. But then you come over to Wave Electronics, started in 2002 out of Houston, Texas, and the rapid growth that they underwent wasn't just because they were moving boxes. They provided value-added services that were really world-class. Something that seems simple, but the dealer marketing services that we have, our ability to produce marketing services for our dealers, anything from business cards to yard signs. We can print directly on a lot of products for our dealers if they're looking to put their branding out there for their customers. Things like rack plates or security panels. Even our new Illumivue cameras, we have some opportunity there to actually laser engrave on surfaces. So it's not just printing, it's now laser engraving as well. So our dealer marketing services are absolutely world-class. It was the thing that I think shocked the AVAD team the most when we saw what the marketing team is doing.
I remember being blown away when I saw that the first time.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. And then, we all know that in the modern day age, you don't necessarily shop by, faxing over your purchase order and then doing a will call pickup. Things have changed.
Man.
Yeah, right. There's a throwback.
Yeah.
But the all new website that Wave Electronics launched at the start of last year, moving over to the Adobe e-commerce platform, and our ability to provide live inventory levels, dealer specific pricing, a very smooth operation for applying for credit or applying for vendor lines. It's not this confusing process of how do I get this brand or how do I get access to that brand. It's all handled through the website in a brilliant fashion. And then some of the more dealer programs that we put together. It's not just, buy your product and thanks so much for the business. We have our Premier program, which is a dedicated program for our dealers to allow them to get cash back on all of their purchases in the form of either a prepaid Visa card or as a credit on their account. All of our vendors, not all of them, but the majority of our vendors support the Premier card program with a variety of different, basically volume incentive rebates where the volume is a single purchase. And it's paid weekly, so you don't have to track it and accrue for it over months or quarters or year. It's automatically loaded onto your account or onto your card every week, which is super cool.
And we also have not to interrupt you, Jeff, but we have a full podcast episode just on the Premier Card program. So for those of you listening now, if you didn't listen to that, please go back, listen to that. I think it's episode 3 or 4.
Hey, guys, I've got a dealer on the phone, Steve Buehler. He runs Wired for Sound. He deals with Andre and is in the California market. Steve, are you there? Can you hear us?
I'm good. I'm here.
Hey, good, man. Thanks for taking the time. Here's Donnie and Jeff.
Hey, Steve, how you doing this morning?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad at all. Yeah, so thanks for taking the time to call in. We were talking about basically everything that happened through the transition from AVAD over to Wave Electronics. So maybe to start, why don't you just tell us a little about yourself and your business and kind of your history with the company?
I started doing this in the mid-'80s.
Wow.
And yeah, long time. And then I started my own company, Wired for Sound, in 89, and then really put to the pedal in 96.
Awesome. So you've been around for a while, and obviously dealing with probably AVAD even before it became AVAD.
Yeah, AVAD used to be Market Pro, and then it was ProMark as well, and then it turned into the big conglomerate that AVAD was.
Right. And so over your time and your years of experience, obviously, what was it that why would you give Wave Electronics a chance after everything that transpired? Like, why are you still interested in doing business with Wave today? What are we doing well that's working out for you?
Well, I tell you, it scared the death out of me when AVAD went under, because I came on with Savant with you guys.
Right.
And I was really unsure, and there was a lot of rumors that there was going to be no more Wave.
Right.
So I was really happy to see that Wave stayed. I mean, there was a lot of things. So for one thing, I dealt with Andre. For me, because I'm an old school guy, it's about relationships.
Right.
And I've got a great relationship with Andre. I had a great relationship with the guys at AVAD.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that there's a physical store.
Right.
But I like to go in and grab my stuff.
Yeah.
It's kind of the way that I operate.
But I mean, obviously, as you said, as an old school guy, you kind of look to the relationship part as that as well, right? That plays a pretty big factor in your purchasing decisions.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I talked to Andre probably quite a bit, and
awesome.
And I like the Elura brand.
Great.
I really like the Sonance branded speakers.
Yep. Yeah. Our blue labels made in partnership with Sonance. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping you guys bring some more blue label. I did see that you guys have a new little one of the Sonance speakers that you brought in.
Yeah, the Sonance 360 landscape speaker.
I can't speak highly enough of your tech support.
Oh, awesome.
Especially Savant. I know all those guys.
Yeah.
I know all those
guys. I mean, that was one of the reasons why Savant wanted to work with Wave exclusively, is because we did have that dedicated tech support team based out of San Antonio, always there to help with anything from obviously Savant, but obviously anything else you might be working with.
Yeah. Everything else I'm good with so far.
Good.
But those guys are great, from Humero to Andrew to Mike and all those guys. They're absolutely amazing.
Good to hear. I'll let them know.
Well, they know.
Oh, good.
I get on the phone and I go, you guys rule.
That's awesome. That's great. Okay, well, I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time to call in and just, kind of give us some firsthand experience about what it was like through the AVAD transition into Wave Electronics, and how, even though I know we don't have a location in your market right now, but with the relationship and our value-added services, you're still interested in doing business with us. So can't thank you enough for taking your time today.
I'm not going anywhere. You guys don't.
All right.
Awesome.
We won't go anywhere, man.
Thank you, Steve.
All right. Okay, take care.
All right, have a great day.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I think the last real important one to talk about is product, right? Wave Electronics was founded by some pretty intelligent guys and girls, and they wanted to make product that was designed by installers for installers. So they launched the Master Brand suite of brands, well over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And very recently, there's been some monumental steps in those product offerings. We launched an all-new surveillance line called Illumivue, which is fully NDAA compliant and FCC certified.
Yep.
Phenomenal product. As always, with the roots in car audio, Wave Electronics has Elura audio products, including an all-new commercial line, which I'm sure we're going to have a podcast on soon.
Already done.
There you go. See? There you have it. Yeah, so definitely want to check out the new Elura audio commercial products. And then just those dealer essentials that you always need. A TV bracket that just works with all the features that you need when you're doing your installation. A suite of rack products for AV gear installations. All those things that, there's other brands out there, but these are ones that are scrutinized and torn apart and torture tested by our dealers. And we take that feedback all day, every day to improve the product.
Awesome. So it sounds like there's a lot of reason if you're not doing business with us today, you should be talking to one of those 4 team members or Jeff or myself or whoever about how to get re-engaged with Wave. And if you happen to be one of the dealers listening to this that isn't in one of those old markets and you're in a market where we have a branch, please reach out, engage with your local team. They're all here, happy to help you. So, Jeff, I appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming in and talking about this. I think it's going to be very eye-opening for the dealers that maybe haven't had an opportunity to re-engage. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we've got dealers that have been dealing with Wave as long as they've been in business. Then we've got dealers that were, big-time AVAD dealers, and the abrupt change caused them to maybe look elsewhere for their needs. But now's the perfect time for them to maybe take a look back at Wave and see what we can offer them. And then finally, if you've never heard of Wave or AVAD, go to wave-electronics.com, check out our all-new website. Obviously, you can apply for an account right there if you don't have one. And more importantly, just click on that locations option at the top. It shows you a map of the United States. It shows you the different regions. Very easy for you to find and connect with your appropriate person, whether they're in a branch or if they're up in the Northeast or, Idaho, wherever you are. Check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate you guys tuning in and have a great day. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking around. Here at Wave Talks, we want to keep the conversation going. Please send us a note. Let us know how we did. Feel free to engage with us in a number of different ways. wavetalks@waveinc.net is an email address, or visit wave-electronics.com/waveview, and you can view all of our resources and send us some feedback there. Thanks again for listening to the podcast episode. Talk to you guys soon.